Alright folks, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a wee bit different from the rest. It's the first video in a new series called Banter's Budget Builds. Now, I was approached by a friend of mine, Kieran, and he asked me could I build him a PC. Now, he wanted the PC to play modded Minecraft and GTA 5. Now, obviously, being a PC enthusiast, obviously I had to pick out parts for him, to go along with this build and to build around the concept of him playing GTA 5 and modded Minecraft. Now, Kieran, coming from a console, had no idea that ultra textures, mod support and high frame rate was merely a click away. So he said, I'm kind of on a budget, and obviously budget means different things for different people. Over here in the UK, we get bent over backwards for PC prices, so they're going to be a lot more expensive than anywhere else in the world anyway, and this is a common and known fact. Now, he said, Charlie, for the PC, the components and the parts, I don't want anything over 500, because he knew he had to put more money aside for a monitor. Now, we managed to get all the parts, the chassis and the monitor for £535. That's right, £535. An absolute steal for him. The fact that he's going to be able to go into the PC gaming community and literally dip his feet in the water and see whether or not he likes it at a very affordable and convenient price, considering how dear the parts are over here in the UK. So, more about the build. Well, to start off, obviously we went for the FX 6300 6-core AMD processor. For the motherboard, we went with the Gigabyte 970A DS3P AM3 Plus socket. We went with the Corsair CX 600M 600 watt modular power supply. Went with two 4GB sticks of DDR3 Corsair Vengeance 1600 MHz of RAM. We went with, for the CPU cooler, the Cooler Master Hyper TX3 Evo. Cooler Master, well known for their Hyper 212 and their other air coolers and being sufficient, cheap, and they do the job. For the likes of the video card, we went with the AMD Gigabyte R9 280. And for the storage, we went with a Seagate Barracuda 1TB 7200 RPM hard disk drive. For the computer case, we went with the NZXT PC Enthusiast case. Now, out of all these items, we actually bought the motherboard, the monitor and the case off a friend of ours who collects PC parts and upgrades his rig good and regular. So basically we got all them relatively cheap. We got the monitor, the motherboard and the case for 120 quid, and this helped us save a lot in the build itself. So let's get into the build log, and I hope you enjoy the video. So to start off everything, we had to grab our processor and we had to put it in the motherboard. Now, the way to do this is to look at your processor and you'll see a little triangle in one of the corners. Match it up with the triangle on the motherboard and make sure it slots in nicely so that all the pins have went into the board, and give it a tiny little wriggle just to make sure it's secure, and then pull the lever down and lock it in place. Try not to move it around too much because you don't want to bend the pins. Now that this was done, we had to ensure that our RAM was going to be placed into the motherboard correctly. To do this, you have to unhinge the DIMM slots. If you notice on this board, there are two black and two grey slots. That means that this board supports dual channel memory, which means that to run the board optimally, you're to use two RAM sticks, which is exactly what we have. We have a kit of two sticks of 4GB each of RAM. So, unhinging the two slots, we place down our RAM sticks into the DIMM slots and wait until they click into place and give them a little wriggle to make sure they're firmly in and they do not move. As far as the power supply goes, I like modular power supplies because you don't have a snake of cables. You get to pick exactly what cables you need for your individual build. There's two essential cables that come on the power supply unit when taken out of the box. This is your 24 pin power connector and your 8 pin power connector. These will be used to be plugged into your motherboard. So to get the power supply into the case, you have to line it up at the back of the case, and I usually have my fan pointing downwards towards the floor. After it's lined up in the back of the case, you screw in the power supply. I usually do this in a diagonal fashion. As the power supply is now in, you can now start to add some of the cables. The likes of cables you'd plug into your power supply would be your PCIe power connectors, which are used to power your graphics cards, and your SATA power cables, which is used to power your hard drives or SSDs. When installing our cooler, the Cooler Master Hyper TX3, we ran into a problem. Normally, most Cooler Master air coolers have their own specific backplate for the motherboard included. Now with the TX3, it uses the normal backplate that comes with your motherboard. As we bought this motherboard second hand, we had to ensure that we had that backplate, and the mounting system for it was a little bit awkward, but once we had it sorted, it was fine. Now that we had our cooler installed, all we had to do was to screw in the motherboard into the case. Motherboards come in all sizes, and these are known as form factors. For most normal motherboards, they come in the ATX fashion. This is obviously what we were using for this build. We were using an ATX motherboard. Normally on the motherboards there are 9 screws, 3 columns of 3 where you can put screws into the board. Now, not every case is going to have standoffs or particular holes for all 9 screws. Some cases only use 7 or even as low as 5. The case that we used for this build was the NZXT PC Enthusiast case, and with this case we only had to use 5 screws to mount the motherboard properly. The hard drive cages in the NZXT PC Enthusiast were very easy to use. We just pulled them out and popped in our hard drive, our terabyte Seagate Barracuda, and screwed it in with just normal screws. So now that we've got all the SATA cables plugged into the hard drives, then we're going to plug in all of our fan headers. And now for my favourite part of the build, cable management. This can be very annoying and time consuming, however it's beneficial for your temperatures and for the actual overall running of your system and the airflow. It is worth the time to look into this and do it for your own build. Plus it makes the whole build look better and more aesthetically pleasing in the long run. As far as our graphics card goes, the R9 280, we had to house this in the PCIe slot of the motherboard. Make sure your PCI lanes at the back of your case are undone for where you're going to be putting in your card. This card in particular takes up 2 PCIe lanes, which isn't that much. So having it housed in the PCIe lane, we will hear a click to know that it's firmly secure, and then we take our thumb screws and we screw in the graphics card to ensure that it doesn't move. We'll go ahead and we'll plug in our PCIe power connectors to power our graphics cards. So the machine has successfully posted into the BIOS. Now we need to install Windows. Now that we have Windows 8.1 Pro installed, all we need to do is get all the drivers, download Steam and all them games. I can now confirm that Kieran's PC is running really well and that it's playing GTA 5 no problem on high settings. He's also enjoying a bit of modded Minecraft. One happy camper. So that's going to wrap up my video, folks, on Banter's budget build GTA 5 PC. If you liked the video, please like it. If you really enjoyed my content, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me out an awful lot. You can follow me anytime on Twitter and Facebook at ForTheBanterNI. Until next time, my friends, goodbye.